The images in the following program are highly sensitive and may be as disturbing to viewers as they were to us. However, we have to show the truth about animal cruelty.
It's total panic and chaos as the dolphins are driven ashore to the trainers. Some of the dolphins die of heart attack. The trainers are grabbing at them, some are dying in the nets, some are drowning. We see broken ribs. Some of the babies are actually beaten to death.
That's a baby right there. There's a baby caught right in the net. And the mother, looks like the mother, or an adult I should say, was trying to get to it to help it. But it can't, of course.
Caring viewers, this is the Stop Animal Cruelty series on Supreme Master Television. Following a recent tragic accident in the United States involving an orca whale at a marine park, members of the media, animal advocates, marine mammal experts, and concerned individuals around the world are renewing their call for the immediate release of all captive whales and dolphins. These highly intelligent, social beings experience extreme stress and suffering when put on display in small tanks, with some being forced to perform in shows for the public's amusement. On our programme today, we continue featuring marine mammal experts who share their insights about the lives of these animals who are literally being imprisoned in pools around the world. Orcas and dolphins are violently captured in the wild, and the experience is so traumatic, only a few survive afterwards. For those that do live, it is only the beginning of a long, miserable life of confinement. Days of relentless training are followed by a grueling schedule of performances. An orca or dolphin must be ready to perform 365 days a year, sometimes doing as many as 8 shows in a day. Dr. Naomi Rose, an expert on marine mammal protection from the US-based animal welfare organisation Humane Society International, shares her thoughts on this tremendously abusive treatment of the gentle beings.
They have to, come out on cue and do a show, and then they go into training all during the day, and then they have to sleep at night because everybody leaves the park. In nature, orcas are not diurnal animals. They aren't active in the day and sleep at night. They sleep when they need to, and they are active when they need to be. So the fact that they're forced to conform to a human schedule, it is stressful for them.
The constant pressure of having to perform show after show is deadly. Richard, or Rick O'Barry, is a former dolphin trainer and is the current director of the US-based non-profit group SaveJapanDolphins.org, which seeks an immediate end to the annual dolphin slaughter in Taiji, Japan. He appeared in the documentary The Cove, which recently garnered an Academy Award, and is about this sickening mass killing. He now shares the following tragic story about what these entertainment shows can do to dolphins.
During the show, the dolphin, Sinbad was his name, leaped up on the stage, smiling, and people are applauding, and he had a heart attack and died. Now, the audience didn't know he's dead. At the end of the show, they're applauding what they think is a happy, smiling dolphin, when in fact it's a dead body. And they walked out of there thinking, that's a happy dolphin. Captivity for dolphins is much more stressful than the other animals in the zoo.
Dr. Laurie Marino, a senior lecturer in the Neuroscience and Behavioral Biology Office at Emory University, USA, has extensively studied the intelligence of bottlenose dolphins. She now provides her perspective on the cruelty of dolphin captivity.
We already know enough about other animals to know that they deserve respect and compassion. What we know about dolphins, their intelligence, their social lives, their needs, how they live their lives, is that some of the ways in which we treat them just in violation of their natural needs and what they need to be happy and healthy and thrive.
The exhausting, relentless, merciless life of captivity takes its toll on the dolphins and orcas. Many develop ulcers and other stress-related illnesses. Most of them die prematurely. Of the 136 orcas taken into captivity from the wild since 1961, 123 of those have died, with an average lifespan in captivity of only 4 years.
In captivity, they very rarely get older than 20. Males very, very rarely get to 30. In fact, I think only 3 have ever made it to 30. That's versus in the wild, where 30 in males is the average life expectancy. The maximum is 50 or 60. Females can live to be 70 or 80 years of age, and there's no captive female that's even come close.
Dr. Thomas White, Director of the Center of Ethics and Business at Loyola Marymount University, USA, and author of In Defense of Dolphins, believes that dolphins are very similar to human beings. He states that when we place them in captivity, a part of this noble animal seems to die.
When you look in the eyes of a dolphin, you know there's somebody there, particularly when you do this in the wild. You have a very strong sense that they're masters of their own domain and very intelligent, very capable. You'll never get that experience by seeing them in a captive situation.
Given all that we have heard thus far, why do we continue to have marine parks? How can we end these ruthless operations? When we return, we will focus on these important issues. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television.
So people pay admission and enjoy the dolphin shows, but not realizing that they're actually sponsoring the slaughtering of thousands of these gentle creatures. For me, the dolphin is a very special creature.
The images in the following program are highly sensitive and may be as disturbing to viewers as they were to us. However, we have to show the truth about animal cruelty.
I found that one of the main messages of your film was it was an investigation of the most dangerous animal on Earth, which is us, just ourselves.
It's absolutely true. It's like, one of the tragic ironies of this movie is that the dolphin is the only wild animal throughout history to save the life of a human being.
This is the Stop Animal Cruelty series on Supreme Master Television. Why do we continue to keep majestic marine mammals captive? Some say their performances in marine parks help people better understand and appreciate these beautiful animals. Rick O'Barry, who is the current director of SaveJapanDolphins.org and appeared in the Academy Award-winning documentary The Cove, says this is a false conception.
It is, in fact, a form of bad education, and that's what this issue is all about. It's not just about the 1,000 dolphins in captivity. It's as much about the hundreds of millions of people who go through there, who come out of there thinking they belong here.
Another justification frequently cited for making cetaceans serve as entertainment is that the dolphins and orcas seem to enjoy performing. However, the reality couldn't be more different.
They're cooperating, like with the training command or whatever, because it's something to do. I think one of their biggest problems is they're dreadfully bored. Most of the time, these are intelligent social animals who live in a very sterile environment, and I think that they actually are extraordinarily bored a lot of the time. And so they cooperate with their trainers, and they cooperate with a lot of things in captivity, I think because it gives them something to do.
Some say that as marine mammals in parks are very well fed, they have an easier life than their counterparts in the wild, and thus their confinement is justified.
One of the things that always fascinates me is that proponents of captivity try to portray the fact that they feed their whales, great food 3 times a day as a benefit of captivity. They say if they live in the lap of luxury, we take care of them when they're in captivity. But in fact, out in the wild, all of that foraging and, moving around looking for food that they do is how they make their living. It's their job, and it keeps them occupied. It keeps them, healthy to be swimming around like that. And as an analogy, I point to people who are couch potatoes, who their job might not require them to leave the house even, and they become unhealthy. They become lethargic. Some of them become depressed. They have their groceries delivered at the door, and they get ill, and they die young. And that is what, in fact, is happening to whales and dolphins in captivity. Yes, all of these things are provided for them, but it takes away their reason for living. It takes away their purpose.
And when the curtain falls and the show is over, what happens to the marine mammals who are no longer needed? Noted Hollywood film actor and television star Billy McNamara shares the heart-wrenching story of Flipper, the beloved dolphin who starred in a 1960s US television series of the same name and who was trained by Rick O'Barry. After the series ended, Mr. O'Barry thought Flipper was being well taken care of, until he went one day to check on her and found her in a tiny pool.
And her back was totally sunburned because she was left out in the exposure of the sun and just burned. And within 3 years, Flipper saw him, recognized him, and she came up and she nuzzled him and he nuzzled her. He realized what he had done was terrible, and he was heartbroken and devastated and traumatized. So his whole life changed. He became on the forefront of the voice of the dolphin for the last 40 years. He's the real deal. He's done all these incredible things. I mean, he's amazing.
How can we halt the cruelty to marine mammals who are kept in captivity for entertainment?
One of the most important things is one of the simplest things. Don't buy a ticket, because it's based on supply and demand. These captive dolphin facilities, just like Coca-Cola or any other product. If I'm wearing ivory, I'm the reason, me, the consumer, I'm the reason the elephant is becoming extinct. Not the guy out there with the shotgun, it's me, the consumer. So it is true in the dolphinarium business. If you're buying a ticket, these dolphins are dying to amuse you. So don't buy a ticket to a captive dolphin show.
You have to realize that as we learn more about these animals, the whales and dolphins, the idea of keeping them confined in concrete tanks into the future makes absolutely no sense.
We also learning as time goes by that in fact these animals aren't suited to captivity. So if we are a moral species and we morally evolved, we should perhaps draw the conclusion by now that what we thought would be all right 30 years ago, we know better now, and it's not all right. And we don't need to remove animals from the wild and put them into captivity to be ambassadors for the next human generation.
Many thanks to Doctors Naomi Rose, Thomas White and Laurie Marino, as well as Rick O'Barry and the countless other individuals and organisations who are working tirelessly to stop slaughter of marine mammals and their inhumane use as entertainment. Let us soon have a more peaceful and compassionate Earth where all beings live in freedom. For more information on captive marine mammals, please visit Humane Society International, www.hsus.org/HSI. Save Japan Dolphins, SaveTheJapanDolphins.org. Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Stop Animal Cruelty series. Coming up next is enlightening entertainment following noteworthy news here on Supreme Master Television. May we always consider the needs of our animal friends.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/stop-animal-cruelty.